Hello, welcome to a new video. It's crazy how comfortable I feel in this chair. After the last 2 weeks of shooting one video in my kitchen where I shared my busy person yummy recipe with you, and last week in the makeup chair, both very new formats for me, this feels so nurturing. Today's video is part of the Career and Money playlist, and if you don't know, I have 4 different categories I make videos in: personal growth, relationships, beauty. I will not bore you with the details. If you'd like to go to my channel, next to the videos tab, click playlists and you'll be able to see everything that's there. If you are on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, come check out my profile. If you are in the neighborhood, please subscribe on YouTube for more. I appreciate you for watching, and I would like to start cutting into today's topic. Back when I was a recruiter, there was one question that would always get asked, and that was, what kind of questions will I get asked in a job interview? Quite recently, actually, I got asked something like that, and that sparked the idea of making a video about it in case you may have questions about that too. Now, these are not going to be asked necessarily in an exact order, but they are the 10 most frequently asked questions. So number 1 is, tell me about yourself. Now, this is not exactly a question, but it's typically the first thing you will go into, and your answer is what will help the interviewer initially determine whether or not you will be a good fit. For that reason, it is very important that you deliver a concise but confident answer. A horrible approach is to share your life story, to go off on tangents. That is damaging, so I really advise you rehearse this before the interview. Rehearse enough to where you don't sound rehearsed, if that makes sense. Make sure that you identify areas that reflect the job you're interviewing for, and you can figure that out from the job ad the company's put out there. For example, let me read you some job requirements for a random ad. Ability to analyze all contracts to ensure compliance, excellent administrative and organizational skills, excellent communication skills, both verbal and written. So these are qualities that a company is looking for in a candidate. Like I said, it's from a random job ad. And you could start with, I'm a very curious person. I have this hunger to learn things. I love to read a lot and watch documentaries. I'm very stimulated by productive environments. I love getting things done well and organized because that's what gives me a sense of self-value. And I've been learning how to openly communicate to be more constructive. And it's really helped me in different areas of my life. That is just a quick example for you, but you see, I added a more personal factor in there to make the delivery of some of the qualities not sound theatrical or overly salesy, but natural and seamlessly delivered. Now, be prepared though with whatever you answer, because in this scenario, for example, you might get asked, oh, so what's a book you really loved, since you mentioned you like reading? Or what's the last documentary you watched? You need to be prepared so you're not like, I personally like this answer because you don't really hear it that often. Almost every single person I have ever interviewed answered this question with, I am timely, I'm organized, I'm hardworking, blah, blah. It's like they were all put together by the same manufacturer, and answering like that shows no originality. You will not stand out, and odds are that person will forget you. So talking about books and documentaries was a fun ad, but relevant because you show you're seeking knowledge, and that's what smart people do. Now I really want to learn more about you. So highlight some of the key attributes the company is looking for in a short and concise delivery, peppered in with some personal facts that are still relevant. Number 2, what do you know about our company? I have said this since I can remember. Be prepared or lose to somebody that is. Not doing your homework will most likely kill your opportunity, and odds are that you will not get the job because you will come off uninterested. Anybody can read and regurgitate things written on the About page. So in addition to reading the About, check out the other web pages to learn more about the company's work, the type of products and services they may provide, locations, who the executives are. Google that company and read some of the articles that pop up. You'll be doing this not only to be prepared in case you get asked a question, but to cement your presence in the interviewer's mind, because this research will now help you relate to the company. Maybe with some of your similar passions, interests, or experiences. For example, you could say, I like doing X, and honestly, that is one of the reasons why I am drawn to your company, because I really believe in your mission to insert blank. Or my beliefs or my experiences are very much in line with your company. Boom! Number 3, what interests you about this job? This question also needs to be answered to the point and can be answered easily if you have actually done thorough homework on the company. The answer could be offered by simply explaining the alignment in views, your interest in the industry vertical, and how your skills match their requirements. Throughout the interview, show enthusiasm and smile. Number 4, why did you leave your last job, or why are you leaving your current job? If there's one thing you will take out of this is to never speak badly or criticize your previous employer. No matter what happened, no matter who did what, you always need to answer this question positively. If you do otherwise, you will appear unprofessional, and most likely that hiring person will not want that for their company. Here are some examples. If you are leaving because your boss sucks, you can say you're leaving because your differences in work philosophies. Or if you got fired, you can say that you were unfortunately let go, but you understood the reasoning and recognized what you need to work on and improve, which is what you've been doing, and will be a significantly better team member because of it. You essentially need to relay the message that you are ready to apply everything you've learned out of every experience and be the best possible fit for the new company. Always keep it classy. Humility is really highly recognized. Number 5, what are some of your strengths? When answering this question, respond only with relevant skills and strengths. That's why prior research plays into this as well, so you know ahead of time what will be best suited for the job. The ads companies put out there are great for buzzwords, and you can tactfully use those trigger words when answering this question. Since I'm on the topic of buzzwords, if you have a couple more minutes, you can maybe check out the 2 videos I made about how to put together a creative resume and how to creatively market yourself. 2 very important things that together with this video will really help you craft a strong foundation and package yourself very attractively for these employers. Now, if you get asked about your weaknesses, please remember that we all have them, and that is not a bad thing. Don't sound overly critical of yourself when answering this question though, but rather pick one of your weaknesses and turn it into a positive. Let me explain. You could say that you're meticulously organized, but that perfectionism has sometimes led in the past to taking a little bit longer to deliver a task, but it's something you have been working on and have been finding the right balance between high quality and completion goals. Never talk about a weakness unless it's something that you have conquered and it conveys a positive outcome. And in doing that, you've answered this question without beating around the bush, without sounding awfully critical of yourself, and shifted the nature of the conversation to something positive. Not to mention that people who can talk with ease about their weaknesses as well as their strengths project a humble confidence that's very attractive, and that's typically exactly what these hiring managers are looking for. Think ahead of time though and choose your weaknesses wisely. Number 6, give me an example of a difficult situation or task that you dealt with. That could be a time when you maybe had to deal with a difficult customer or a crisis. This is asked so that you can share how you used problem solving and communication skills to help resolve something. How you handle a problem says a lot about your skills and your emotional intelligence. So keep it simple, but keep it positive. Never throw anybody under the bus or speak negatively about anybody to explain the situation. It's good to think about this question ahead of time, because I have to be honest, as a hiring manager in the past, it was so damn boring when people didn't have a story to share. And quite frankly, that kind of raises a red flag. Oh, so you never solved anything? Just think of a time when you had to demonstrate your skills. Number 7, why should we hire you? Translation, what makes you better than anybody else, or what can you do that others can't? One thing I used to do in past job interviews, I would take with me a printout of the job description they advertised, and I had previously highlighted some of the key terms in their requirements. I would then answer the question by pulling out the printout and pointing to one of the highlighted terms and adding, I'm the right person for this job because, and I would say something pertaining to that quality that was highlighted that they're looking for. I would then point out to the second highlighted term and say, I'm the right person because I believe in, and so forth. And if you top it off with, my intention is to give you all the reasons to think, wow, I hired the right person. Boom! Number 8, what are your career goals? The interviewer will ask you that typically because they want to gauge how long you plan on staying at their company. Preparation is good here again as well because you have to figure out how to articulate your goals. Although no one can really know where they will be in their career 5 or 10 years from now, beating around the bush kind of answers will not be taken seriously. So you can say that you've thought about your future and have put some time into career planning. No one really knows for sure where they will be in 5 years, but ideally you hope to move up the ladder in this company and based on your performance to be in some managerial position and continue helping the company in that way. You basically want to reassure them that the job you're interviewing for fits into your career plan, so they feel you're committed to them long term and not just use them as a stepping stone and quit after a year, because honestly, a lot goes into hiring somebody and they don't want to have to do that again. And even if you're unsure that this position is really going to be a part of your future, you can express that this experience will play an important role in your future and you are ready to step into those shoes. Boom again. Number 9, what are your salary expectations? I always try to avoid giving an answer to this question because I really don't want to shortchange myself. What if I was making 80,000 at the previous job and I say that if they were prepared to pay me 90, I just shot myself in the foot. I would usually tell the interviewer that if I'm being seriously considered, I would love to see what they think about offering me. I will have a salary range narrowed down by then as well, so we can discuss this matter more seriously. If the hiring manager insists on getting an idea, then speak in ranges. I'd say if we can meet somewhere in the 80s, 90s range, that will be perfect. I am flexible and I just like to start with your judgment first. Number 10, do you have any questions for me? Translation, how much attention have you been paying? Here you can have a couple of potential questions already prefabricated in your mind from which to choose from, depending of course on which one will be most appropriate to the meeting and what has or hasn't been covered so far. And I personally like questions like, what attracted you to this company? Or, what kind of advice would you give somebody hired in this position? That, of course, being the position you're interviewing for. Now, I have shared some key pieces of advice in this morning's email to you. If you'd like to get that email, please feel free to visit my website and decide if you'd like to sign up for it. The link is in the description bar below. Please read that message because there are some important things to keep in mind that will help you in the interview and also during the job searching process as a whole. Really good stuff. Please check out my Instagram and Facebook profiles. I'm there every day talking to you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if this video provided you with good information or ideas. I love you so much for being here and watching. Lots and lots of success to you today and every day, and I will see you very soon.